Every time a customer refers a friend or neighbor, they're putting their reputation behind your company. When referral-driven revenue grows, it means your service experience is strong enough to turn satisfied customers into advocates. Tracking this KPI shows whether your company is earning trust in the market or constantly paying to replace lost attention. So this KPI is obviously very valuable, right? Because referral revenue is revenue that you didn't have to, pay to acquire, right? Meaning if somebody refers a customer, maybe you're giving them a $50 gift card or, a certain percentage off of the next deal. But overall, there's not a cost directly associated with it most of the time. And if it is, it's minimal. I mean, I'm sure you would love to pay $50 for every referral. And so the way we're going to do this is here in this data set. And if you want this data set, there's a link to download it with my formulas, with all my solutions, the charts, everything you just saw. There's a link, and if not, just shoot me an email. And so what we need to calculate this is sort of, the service date, the event date, also here, the acquisition channel. And the acquisition channel, we can get referral. And then over here, gross revenue. That's what we're going to calculate it off of. But you can calculate it off of net, off of gross, profit. And so you can do, however you want. And then also, once you learn how to do it the way that I'm about to show you, you can also do it a lot of different ways. You could do it off of service area. You could do it off of system type. You could do it off of job type, tech, and dispatcher is a little bit weird. Customer service rep, there's a lot of different ways you can slice and dice this, service versus install. And watching this video and seeing how I do it right now, then you can do it all the other, any other way you want, because the formulas are exactly the same. The difference is just mapping of the columns. Okay, so let's get started. Oh, the first thing we have to do is we have to get the end of this month. So January 31st, we would want for anything with January, right? And then February 28th or 29th if it's a leap year. And so the way we do that is with the EOMONTH function, the end of the month function. So equals EOMONTH, and then click on your date, event date if you're following along with the same file, comma 0. And the 0 is going to be the end of this month. If you did 1, it would be the end of February, not the end of January. If you did 2, so on and so forth. And it always formats it as a dollar value. And so just format it as a date, and you can see here that this matches this. So I'm going to delete that. I just wanted to show you how I got it, but you can see it's the exact same formula. Okay, so the starting point here, we need the month. So we just that column we just created, we need a unique list of that. So equals unique here, and then you can just highlight the month here. And then now you have a unique list of all of the dates. And just in this data set, again, if you're using this data set, you're good. But if you're in your own data set, you want to make sure this is sequential, right? You want to make sure January, February, March, for 25, 26, whatever date range you're working with. You want to make sure it's sorted the proper way, because then when you build the chart, it's going to make more sense, right? If you have January and then April and then February and then March, it's like it's not going to make sense. Okay, so the next thing we need total revenue, non-referral revenue, referral revenue, and then we get a percentage, and then we build a target. So I'm just going to copy and paste that. It'll save, 10 seconds from having to type that. Okay, so total revenue is really straightforward. Equals a SUMIFS. We want to sum the total revenue column if the month is January 31st from that month column we created. So SUMIFS right here, gross revenue. And again, you can do any of these columns. And that's what I was saying earlier. Once you learn these formulas, all you have to do is change the gross revenue column to the gross profit column, and then it'll all update. Comma, and then right here, cell B3. So that's the total revenue. I'm going to press Control Shift and the number 4 to format it as a dollar. And then here, so now what we want is we're going to calculate referral revenue, because we have in the acquisition channel, we have the referral column, and then we're just going to subtract total revenue from referral revenue. That way, and then we get non-referral. You could do non-referral by summing if that column doesn't say referral, essentially, but this is just easier. So now we want to SUMIF the total revenue column and the month, but add another criteria of the referral column of the acquisition channel. So with SUMIFS, the first argument is the value column, the sum range you can see right here. So we want to sum gross revenue. And then the next two arguments don't matter. You can do the month first, or you can do the acquisition channel as revenue first. I'll just do month because we're right here, comma, and then it's cell B3. You can type in B3 if you want, if you know where it is, or you can just go back and you can click on it, comma. And then here, the acquisition channel, here, comma, and then type in the word referral. And make sure to use quotations because it's text. And now you have that, Control Shift and the number 4, and then double click, and you're good. And then non-referral revenue is just total revenue minus referral revenue. Double click that, and you're good. And then the rest is pretty straightforward. Referral revenue percent is just referral revenue divided by total revenue. I'm going to press Control Shift and the number 5. And then I'll add a decimal if you want. You might not want that, but if you do, that's how you do it. And then for target, let's do 25%. And then underneath equals the number above it. And the reason for that is because now you have a dynamic range. You can do a bit of a sensitivity analysis on the target line in the chart. So you can change it from 25, see what months are above, see what months are below. Do 30, see what's above, see what's below. Okay, so now to create the chart, it's not so straightforward. You can't really just click in, insert, recommended charts. You're going to get a lot of weird stuff. You don't want 3 columns. What we want here is we want a stacked column. So for each month, we want a single column. We want the bottom part to be non-referral revenue, and we want the top part to be referral revenue. And then we want a line with the referral revenue percentage, and then we want a straight line with the target revenue, the target referral percentage, just like this. So I'm going to highlight the month, click and drag. I'm going to hold down Control and then highlight everything else that's not revenue. Go to recommended charts. So insert recommended charts, and you're not going to see what you want here. Like this one is the closest, but it's still, we don't have the line. So go to all charts, combo, and then now you see clustered column. We don't want 2 columns. We want stacked here. And it automatically updates the second one. And then for the line, we want the line to have its own axis. Like we don't want 0.21 to be on the same axis as a million, right? Like it won't show. So if you click the secondary axis sort of checkbox here, then you'll see that that line has its own axis now. And so, yeah, that is how you calculate it. Let me zoom in a little bit. But yeah, and so I'm going to, oh, we didn't do the target line. See the purple down here? So right click, change chart type, and then I just didn't see it. My fault. Here, secondary axis, and now you have the target line. So that's the KPI. That's how you do it. You can stop watching. The rest is just, making this look clean. And so the first thing is I'm going to bring the title over here. Bring the title right here. And then the first thing is I want to make the red a different color because, red is bad, right? And I don't want it to be red. So I'll just change make it like a bluish color. So if you double click, and then you see how the little 4 circles is only on that one. So click out and then click back in. And then now you can see it's on, multiple. Click the little paint bucket, and then you can see the red here. It's under fill. Sometimes fill is collapsed. So you can expand it, and then you can click here. And you can just pick another color of blue or whatever color you want, but just not red. And so I'll just do that color blue just because it's already done. And then for the green line, I'm going to change that color as well. So again, click on the line. Make sure you see multiple sort of little squares, because if not, you're just going to highlight one little piece of the line. And then you can see the green, and we can make this, I don't know, maybe a darker blue. Okay. And then for the target line, a couple things. One is it's just taking up too much space. It's too thick. And then 2, we can change the color to whatever you want. So again, click on the line, go to the paint bucket. I'll make it orange, and I'll make it maybe 1.5, 1.25, and then maybe a dash line. We just want to see it. So you can see it there. but we don't want it to take up the whole space. And so what else? The last thing I want to do is I want to show you how to format the dates here. So this isn't too bad. It's not taking up too much space. But say you wanted just January 25. Say you wanted 1/25. Not 1/2025, but 1/25. What you can do is you can change the format of this. So highlight the months, press Control-1, go to Custom, and it's actually already done here. All you have to do is just delete out everything, and you want month/year, and now you can see it's 1/25. And you can see the chart sort of went down a little bit, and now it's a little bit cleaner to read. And so, and finally, the last thing I'll show you, which I'm not going to actually do, one more thing here. If this decimal, I don't like that decimal. So if you wanted to show a decimal here, but not here, then I'll show you how to fix that. If you only want, the reason why there's a decimal here, 0.0, is because it's here too. If you remove it, then you can see it's removed. But if you want it here and don't want it here, then double click there on the secondary axis, go to the three little columns, go to number, and then change that to 0. And you can see that's done. And then the last thing I'll show you, even though I'm not going to actually have it in the chart, is if you want the values to be shown. So if you click on the chart, you see the little crosshair, you see the data label, you just hover, but it's like, this is worthless, right? It's way too noisy. But maybe you want just the revenue for this. So if you click here, you can see only that section is highlighted, or, highlighted with, the 4 little circles. Then you can do data labels. I'll just hover, and like maybe that looks good. It's still hard to read, which I'm not worried about. I'm more worried about the overlap. Like this right here is overlapping. Okay, so with it being a little bit hard to read, there's a super simple fix. If you just click on the numbers, and again, make sure you see multiple boxes, and then you can just add a background. So you can go to home, and then the little paint bucket, and then you can add a background. And you can move a couple of these if you want. Maybe that's higher, so you want it to be above. And then you can just sort of go through and then move them how you want. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time. And then finally, if you just want certain values, so I'll remove the labels. But say you want just the big ones. Let's find some like this right here. If you want just this, click on it, and you can see multiple are sort of selected, but then click on it again. Make it just that one, and then you can do your data label, and then you can add a background. And then it's just easier to see that way. And so that's another way to do it. And you can, sort of maybe do 4 or 5, or even 2, like a high point and a low point, however you want to do it. But yeah, so that is how you do this KPI. Again, like, if you want any of this, if you want this data set, shoot me an email. If you can't find the link to download it, shoot me an email, questions@databoards. And also with this data set, like, I understand, like, it's not so easy to get your data structured this way, because what you're going to need is either, Service Titan to create a bunch of custom fields, or you can just have a person, manually entering in this data. Say you're doing, let's see, how many jobs are in. So if you're doing 172 jobs in a month, say it's a 30-day month, even though you might be working 20 days, but say it's 30 days, you're doing 6 jobs a day. So it might make sense just to hire somebody, to fill in 6 rows of data. It shouldn't take more than, 2 minutes a row. The harder part is getting the data, right? Like how do you know who was referred? How do things like that, which isn't that hard when you talk to him. Hey, how'd you hear about us? Oh, I got referred. Oh, okay, great. Right. But anyways, if you need some help structuring your data in that, in that format, getting the KPIs, getting the insights, building the charts, all that stuff, then just shoot me an email, or there's a link to my calendar. But that's it in this one, and I will see you in future videos.